What's up, guys? It's your boy, Agent Ubeda, here with Ambiance Realty at our Safe at Home podcast. And we have a special guest today, Coach Eduardo Cornejo. Cornejo in Spanish, right, Coach?
Yeah, you're showing quite a bit of leg there.
Oh,
looks good.
You're right.
Looks pretty good.
My bad. Oh, here we go. Hey, at least he knows. I know he's on my side because someone else would be like, "Yeah, let it roll. Let's screw him." Oh man, this is a special guest because, as you guys know or may not know, I'm a true Valley guy at heart, and the fact that he's running CSUN, Cal State Northridge, San Fernando Valley, right? I mean, that's our school out there, and he's running that program. It's super exciting. The fact that you guys broke records this year. I mean, what do we have? You guys, I know you ended up at a 6-game winning streak. You guys almost made playoffs.
We were one game shy of a regional.
Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
1 game shy. Oh my God. Very exciting stuff though. We're going to get into all that. And quick facts about Coach Cornejo here. 13th round, 2003 by the Oakland A's. Wow.
I was a Moneyball draft.
That's amazing.
The movie.
That's amazing.
Have you seen the movie Moneyball?
Yeah. That was that what that was? You were part of that?
I was part of that draft class
because
I fit their mold. I fit their analytic mold.
Oh wow. Yeah. I didn't know that. I gotta check that off on I missed that fact. Really?
Well, I wasn't very fast and I didn't throw hard, so I had to get on base and drive runners in.
That's an awesome fact to know. I didn't know that. I like that. Wow.
Second generation.
We're gonna get into all that. But congratulations! I get 6 seasons. That's I mean, 284 career batting average. You batted left-handed through right-handed. That is the way growing up. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, that guy's cool. He's throwing right, so you can play at any position. But you're batting lefty. That's unorthodox. So how did that start? If you don't mind, we can maybe just jump into that.
It's very unique, I guess.
It is very unique.
I guess if I was right-hand dominant, and if you're hitting left-handed and your right hand's underneath, and you can control the barrel a little bit better.
Is that what it was?
That's kind of what appealed to me.
Wow. That's very interesting.
Fun fact, a lot of left-handed hitters, right-handed throwers have a lot of lower back issues.
No, I didn't know that.
As they grow up. Yeah, because you're torquing a different way every time you throw and when you hit. So it's pretty common. Wow. That we're going to get into all that. His whole background. I want to hear the whole story on just the fact how you even got I call it the baseball bug. Don't answer that now, okay? So today's date for all you is July 27th. So as we get started, I like to do today in baseball. So in 1984, Pete Rose collects his 3,053rd career single off Steve Carlton in the 7th inning off versus Montreal in a 6-1 win over Philadelphia. Were they lost, right? 6-1 to Montreal. Passing Ty Cobb's baseball all-time single seasons record, which made him the king in singles. What's your take on Pete Rose? Because I never saw him play growing up,
but we've heard
the legends, and we heard how tough his father was on him.
Okay, did you ever read his book? Sorry to cut you off.
No.
I've good book to read.
Little excerpts of it. But, he's a guy that you respected.
To this day, I'm like, Bug Selig, whoever it was, get. I know he's not there anymore, but let him in.
I think it's time.
Let him in. Come on.
He paid his dues and did his time. I think it's
at times I feel like, maybe he. I'm guessing here. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. I'm gonna take a wild guess. He wasn't the only one doing what he was doing, which was betting on baseball.
Sure.
It's just he got caught, and they're like, "We're gonna make an example out of you," which what they do with a lot of people when they, something comes, the leaves turned over per se. Steroid era. We're gonna make an example out of you. Yada, 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 right? I think that's what happened, unfortunately, to Pete. But to be the home run king, the singles, the most hits king, record-breaking guy, and you're not in the Hall.
Yeah, it becomes a sensitive subject now. I don't know if you've heard the recent
what
issues at the University of Alabama with their baseball head coach who was tangled up in some betting scheme
providing
information. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
they fired him right away.
College baseball. They're betting in college baseball.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
There's a lot of it.
that's hard. I mean, that's it. I didn't know that.
I mean,
I didn't know that.
In today's world, you can bet on anything.
Yeah, for sure, right?
People are going to bet on how good this podcast is.
Oh, it's going to be great.
So,
You're right. So, moving on. So we have birth dates too. Today, famous. You might know this guy. No, maybe you've heard of him. A-Rod. A-Rod's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, 48th birthday. Happy birthday, A-Rod. If you want to join the podcast, if you want to come on my podcast, A-Rod, feel free. Feel free to contact us. Call your people, call my people. A-Rod is 14-time All-Star, 3-time AL MVP, 2-time Gold Glove, 1996 MLB batting champ, 5-time American League home run leader, 2-time MLB RBI leader, 2009 World Series champion, and he actually won the Babe Ruth Award as 2009 postseason MVP, which he led in batting at 365, 6 home runs and 18 RBIs. Prior to that, he really had stunk up in the playoffs. I don't know if you recall that.
I do, yeah.
So they were giving him a lot of hassle, like, yeah, you're great, but not when it counts, until that year, and he turned it around. And what's your take on A-Rod?
People have their own opinions. If you play in the big leagues, I think you're a special athlete. And if you've played as long as he's played.
Oh, yeah.
Shame on me for ever criticizing you.
Right? And I think what happens is, as fans, I'm a fan. I didn't get to the level you got. So a lot of fans that never even played the game, I think their perspective is just a little different, right? So they're like, oh, he chokes and yada yada. But if anybody, and a lot of our guests have and are still playing right now, our young guys that are playing, some people are never played baseball or any other sport competitively where you feel that pressure. Yeah. And if you never felt that, right, and played it, and it doesn't have to be baseball, it can be anything else. And you see someone fail in that situation, you're thinking like, oh, he sucks, or whatever word you want to use. But it's different. It's completely, and I know you can testify to that. Playing in a playoff game versus a regular season game, it's completely different, et cetera, et cetera. And especially at that level, are you kidding me? It's not like he can't do it. He's been doing it. And you're right. They'll get that criticism, like, that guy's not that great. I'm like, it's A-Rod. Are you sure you know what you're saying right now? Anyways, happy birthday to A-Rod. Wish him the best of luck. Fun fact about A-Rod as well. In 2020, I don't know if you knew this, he almost bought, or was one of the he was in cahoots, or he was with J-Lo, and they were attempting to buy the Mets 2020. It fell through, it didn't go through. So, but I just thought that was very interesting. He's actually a big tycoon in real estate. He owns a firm, and they buy a bunch of stuff everywhere. He's very invested into that. Smart guy.
Isn't there an issue if you are with the rest of the owners of Major League Baseball, where if you're going to become an owner, don't you have to have universal approval for that?
Probably. I'm not sure. But I know that he was going to be like Magic Johnson. He's part of, he's not the owner per se. Gotcha. I think he was going to be one of those guys, or he's going to have part of possession of the Mets and et cetera. I didn't even know they were for sale in 2020, but I thought that was very interesting.
Well, good for him. I know he's not well liked within the community, but
I didn't know that. I've been hearing that a lot more, but why?
I don't know. From what I've heard, and I've just heard that his demeanor with his teammates and how he treats others.
You're talking about as a ball player.
As a ball player,
not personally.
Well, I think that.
Well, that leads to that.
Yeah, sure.
Is that what it was?
Permeates into other avenues, I'm sure.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. Okay. So that was today in baseball. And then now we're going to do today in real estate. So what we do today in real estate is we talk about rates. FHA rates are at a 5.99. And I'll explain what that means. Conventional rates that are 7%. And then our VA rates, which is all our military, are at 5.99 as well. So I'll give you a little bit of real estate side here. So FHA loans are for first-time buyers. It's the best way to go if you ask me. If you're thinking of getting married, something we joke about in the real estate game is, if you're thinking about getting married, don't get married. Right? Wait, right? Get your FHA loan, buy your first property, And what you can do with that FHA loan, it doesn't have to be a single family home. So it doesn't have to be your forever home, right? You can actually buy a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. So let's say you're engaged per se, right? You're like, honey, we're going to hold off on the wedding. I got to call Alexis and he's going to help me buy that fourplex. You go again and buy your fourplex. You guys are not legally married, so you can do that. She has her job and she's making her own money. And then you turn around and tell her, okay, now you need to go buy your fourplex. So now you guys go buy your fourplex. Now you have 8 units. Think about that. Before you get married.
And you don't have any money left over for the wedding.
You have no money.
So you end up canceling it.
Yeah, no, I explain. I walk you guys through that. So don't worry about it. I make sure you do. Now you have these 4. Now you have 4 units. She has 4 units. You have 8 units. And you use those income units. You live in one, right?
Yeah.
The other 3 pay themselves. You were living for free. She claims that she lives in one of the other 4 units, and et cetera, et cetera. You use all these rental incomes to purchase your home, where now you guys get married and you move into your 3rd property and you guys live in that one to start off. That's just to start off.
And then just think of how big the wedding's going to be later.
Maybe not that big. That's where you might take a hit. But the good thing is now you guys have 9 doors, as we call it in real estate, before you even, anything. It's an amazing way to go. Anyway, it's perfect scenario for my FHA buyers. A lot of people in the Valley, they buy their single family home, and it is what it is. But we always recommend, if you can do this, it's perfect scenario for anybody to buy a first time home. So that's FHA loans. VA loans is for our military. Thank you for all the military out there that done what they've done for our country. Big shout out to them. Gonna round of applause with everybody. Yeah.
Texting.
All right. So they have the same rates. We got a 5.99 for them as well. For them, so FHA loans, I'll go back to it real quick. It's a minimum down payment of 3.5% versus your standard 5, 10, 20%, which is a lot of money, right, out of anybody's pocket. So with VAs, quick fact is they have 0 down payment. So if you're in the military now, or you've been in the military, you have a VA loan, you can use that, and you can buy a house for as little as $1,000.
Wow.
$1,000 might not even get you a car, but in this case, you can even get a house. That's only for them though. No one else. Yeah, big deal. So if you guys are military, contact us. I'll put my information down here somewhere, here, wherever our editor does it. But I'd love to help you guys out. You guys deserve it. I wish I could do more for you guys, but those are bank guidelines. I don't know. Did you know about the FHA and the VA stuff? The differences?
No.
Well,
I had no idea.
There we go.
Beautiful.
There we go. Conventional loans is our last loan. That's at 7%. It's a little higher. That's more for our I guess, second time buyer, right? Where they use up their FHA loan, and now they got to go conventional, because you can't do FHA over and over. I mean, it'd be too easy at that point. So now you do conventional, you can buy a second home for 5, 10, 15, 20%. And the rate's a little higher. So your payment's a little higher.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm a first-time buyer.
Perfect.
I'm using the FHA loan.
Yeah.
How competitive am I among, let's say, I'm trying to buy a single-family home, and I'm competing against 14 other offers.
Right.
How competitive am I?
Great question. So you're going to look a little different than the conventional loan.
Right.
But I promise you, in the last 10 plus years that I've been doing this, I've closed so many FHA loans, especially in the Valley, where a lot of people get discouraged and say, oh, well, my buddy's going in at 5% and I'm at FHA 3.5. And I just tell them, let me worry about that.
So the agent really matters.
I believe so. In this situation, I believe so, because your age. So when you're presenting a package, which is going to be your FHA loan, when you're dealing, I'm submitting your offer. The way I submit an offer, I guess you can kind of say it's a science in a way, where the other agent, if he or she's seasoned, will see it and say, oh, he knows what he's doing. Because we've seen some stuff where you're like, bro, who wrote this?
Right.
Like, this is crazy. And not to talk bad, I've been there before. It's where I started off as well. But you want to make sure that whoever you're working with, especially if you are doing FHA, they're writing the offer the right way. You're communicating the right way. And all those little things go a long way.
I mean, I just had a conversation last night with an agent. And he goes, dude, I appreciate you called back right away, et cetera, et cetera. Because I'm competing, trying to get these buyers into a house.
Sure.
And he goes, the fact that you're communicating with me, responding, et cetera, he goes, I look at that to see if I pick you or the next guy. I do the same way all the time. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to deal with you for the next 30 days to seal the deal, right? You're selling the house, I'm buying the house, but we have to work together. It's like you're looking at a recruit. You're like, the guy's great, but he's a total jerk.
Sure.
Do I want to deal with this guy for a year, 2 or 3 or 4? That might change your mind if you find the other kid that, might not be as good as him, but you're like, he's solid. I know I can mold him or maybe transfer him into a little better. Long-term wise, you're looking at, I'm thinking that's that's what I would assume. I don't know. But
there's a saying in recruiting that you're better off if you lose out on a really good recruit and you end up playing him, he might beat you one game or possibly 2. But if you recruit the wrong player, he beats you every day. Oh,
wow. There you go.
Yes.
We go hand in hand. I'm telling you, this is a perfect merge here. So it's a great question. But like I said, past 10 years, I'm not looking at my files here, but just off the top of my head, I probably closed more FHA loans than anything else.
Wow.
So it's not impossible, guys. Don't give up. It's super doable.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If I'm selling my house now.
Oh, I like this.
Okay.
I like it.
Because I want something bigger.
Talk to me more.
Well, I'm the head coach. I need a bigger place.
Oh, hello. Okay.
So now I'm selling my place and I have 5 pretty competitive offers.
Yeah.
And you've got maybe 2 FHA loans sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
How attractive are those for a seller?
Okay. So, because I'm actually doing this with 2 other families as we speak. They're selling and buying, right?
Okay.
So I look at the total package. We're going to look at if it's FHA conventional. Then we're going to look at their credit scores. And then I'm going to find out if they're self-employed or W-2 employees. Okay. And how long have they been working there or how long have they been self-employed? To me, that means a big deal because if I pick a winner for you, or I always suggest who you should pick, right? It's up to you guys to decide. You have 5 offers. I break them down to you and I tell you, you know what? I think number 3 is your best bet. And here's why. At the end of the day, you decide. But I do all that because what happens is in the next 30 days, I'm locked in not only to that agent, but I'm locked in to that loan that they're getting. Now, an FHA loan doesn't necessarily always mean that it's a bad loan. If let's say they've been there for 20 years, they're teachers and they've been they're not going anywhere, right? Their credit score is at 750, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They work around the corner. I know they're gonna fight, for that house.
Yeah. And
I know that loan's gonna be a lot smoother than maybe the conventional loan that says, hey, I have 20% down. I just started my business, but here you go.
Okay.
That might be a little more risky, even though it looks outside looking in, it might look a little nicer because you're getting 20%.
Gotcha.
So that's how I kind of do that.
Makes sense.
So, and then you determine other stuff because now you guys are selling and buying, right? Correct.
Right.
Excuse me. So that's how that works. Anything else on that? I like that. I like the questions.
No,
You're on it. You're on it. All right.
The one thing I always found interesting about real estate is that as a first time buyer not too long ago, if I submitted an offer, I could never get any feedback on that offer. How close was I?
What?
How much further did I need to go in order to get the house that I wanted?
The reason I ask, because the market, depending on that market time, when was this?
Well, this is when the market was hot. This is 2020.
Okay, so 2 years COVID time.
I mean, I would submit an offer and I'd be competing with 15 others.
Yeah. So real quick, guys, the COVID era is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
It was the most unusual real estate, or the world was going through this whole change of everything. It was so, even in the real estate world, when I called, seasoned agents that I've known and, I consider mentors, they're like, I don't even know what to do here. This is nuts. Like, we've never seen this.
Okay.
These people that have been there in business 20, 30 years. So I think to answer your question, a part of it might have been that it was the wild, wild west. Now, that being said, your agent, he or she, should have still give you some feedback. And,
I'm a baseball coach, so I live and die off of feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you want to know what your next move is.
Sure.
Exactly.
I enjoyed my experience with my agent. I love where we live. We live in Simi Valley.
Okay.
I love the area. My wife is happy. Kids are in a great neighborhood. Love our neighbors, the whole nine. But I was really frustrated with the process.
It took a while? Is that what it was?
I want to say
a lot of competition, like over and over?
Yeah. I want to say it took about 6 weeks.
That's not bad,
dedicating
actually.
every weekend to seeing probably 5 or 6 houses. And getting denied 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Denial sucks, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, again, it was the frustration of the feedback. I don't know if we're doing this right.
Sorry. Were you talking to the agent more, or was the wifey?
No, it was me.
And you weren't getting feedback?
No. I always wanted to know, here's what I'm thinking to submit an offer for.
Yeah.
It's about $30,000 over listing.
Yeah.
Is that good enough?
How
much more do I need to go?
Yeah.
And there was always some ethical issue there. No, we can't disclose what other offers are.
Okay, so
I'm a competitive guy. So give me the numbers, and I'll always beat it.
Right.
Or try to beat it at least.
So here's a question: were you using the same agent every time, or did you go
every
straight?
Time.
Okay, so they were on your side. They were dealing with you directly. A lot of times we don't get that feedback in regards to a number.
Okay.
But you should get something. You know what I mean? Like, how close was I? Was I, top 5?
Sure.
Was I in the ballpark where, you guys weren't even near? Like, you get something. So I don't want to speak on anybody's behalf or whatever happened there, but I always try to give as much feedback as I can, because the way I feel is the more you know, the better. The more you know, the more you can understand, and the more comfortable you're gonna be with me, because you're seeing, okay, he knows what he's doing. He's telling me what he's doing. Now you're understanding the process, and now you can be like, hey, what if we try this time? Because last time that didn't work, and then we kind of work it together.
Sure.
But at the same time, I feel like when I leave people out, in the blank per se, they're kind of like, what's going on? And then now they're feeling uncomfortable. Like, are you hiding something? And it's not like we're trying to hide anything. So I just like to say, look, here's what happened. What do you think? This is what I think. This is what I know. And then let you guys kind of figure it out. Some people say, maybe you're telling them a little too much. I go, no, I tell them enough.
Yeah.
Get you that feel.
That's where the frustration was. And for me, and here's what I was told.
Give me an example.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
We put an offer down for $25,000 over listing. We get a counter offer.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, this is a good sign. We've made it to the next step.
Yeah.
We're almost in the starting lineup, and we're not quite there. So we do offer a counter for an additional $10,000 above that.
Yeah.
And then we get denied. So I then go to my agent and I said, well, what was the issue? Was it the final number that we needed?
Yeah.
Where did we fit? Where did we go wrong?
You guys were FHA, I'm assuming?
No.
Oh,
we were conventional, 20%.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And what was the answer?
The answer in reply was, we're not allowed to tell you those things.
Oh, stop it. Oh, come on.
That's literally what I was told.
Oh, you got to be kidding
me.
So
I walked away extremely frustrated. I don't want to get this industry.
What? I don't get it. No, that is not that right. That's the wrong answer, buddy. I'm sorry to whoever you were, but that's not the way to do business. Yeah, no. You know what it reminded me of is like you take that ball, right? You take the ball looking, you write down the pipe or whatever, and you look back and you're like, where was that? And the blue says that it was right on the corner, or it was a little high, whatever the case may be. Or even if it's a ball, you're like, where was that? And he tells you. But if they just shrug you off, like, you're like, wait, what? Like, I'm just asking where the ball was. Was it
exactly?
And if I think that's the feeling you got. The blue said, "Screw you," without saying "screw you."
No, he didn't say a word. That's probably the most frustrating thing.
That's the thing
of it all.
Yeah, that's the thing. So the blue just looks at you like, I don't know, and you're like, what do you mean?
I'm not allowed to tell you where my strike zone is.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. You know who you are. But.
So what you do is your next at bat, you just go up there hacking at anything.
Yeah,
you don't trust them.
You don't trust the blue, exactly. But that's why I'd say, look, this is what happened, yada, yada, yada. So now you know, and now we got to play ball together, because if I can't get you to understand, especially in that time was crazy. I'm going to tell you a quick story, because the Simi Valley, I know you know who you are when you hear this. I'm not going to say any names. They're going to be like, oh, that was me. It's not a bad thing. It's a real life experience during the COVID era. We went in, I want to say 60K over, maybe 80, extreme. We get a counter offer, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, bro. Like, how much more do you want? So the guy calls me back, and I'm communicating, and he's like, so then my guy goes, I'll do 100 over. I'm like, hold on. Are you sure? Are you sure? And he goes, yeah. I go, damn, if this doesn't get in, I feel bad. Like, I'm lost, because that's how crazy it was, right?
So at this point, you as an agent, you don't even know what it's going to take. And you're not allowed to know that.
No, I'll tell you. I say it all the time. I am allowed to know. But I find out. I try to find out as much as I can before I even submit an offer. Okay. See, the way I work is I call you as an agent. I go, what do you have? Because I don't want to waste your time, my time, and my client's time. And if it makes sense, we'll submit an offer. If not, just.
And is it ethical for that selling agent?
It's not. They can. I don't know. Like, maybe legally speaking, they're not supposed to leak out a number.
Okay.
But you can say, hey, bud, we're at a 20 over. That's not specific. We're around 20 over. Can you do that? No, we can only go 10 over. Okay, bye. Done. Why even bother? Why put you through it? Right. So at that point,
that makes sense to me.
Right. I called the guy back, and I'm like, 100. He goes, well, I got somebody at 100. Can you do 101? That'll do it. I'm like, oh shit. Call back.
See, that's the feedback that I needed.
That's what I was.
Give me 101 and it's yours.
And it's yours. But I was so shocked with the 101 over.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's record breaking for me too. By the way,
that was good for your client. He has that kind of money.
Good.
I need to win a lot more ball games.
You see, I know you're watching. You did good. And he bought and see me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's why it triggered memories. So we got it.
So maybe I got beat by him. Maybe that.
Maybe. Yeah. Are you off of off the 118? When you exit, you go left or right? I
go right.
Exactly. We're up there too.
I'm by the golf course there, Simi Hills.
He's a few blocks away, but yeah.
Okay.
But it's same area, same nice area. It's a nicer side.
Okay.
I'm glad you bought there.
Good.
Because I told him the same thing. I'm like, no, you want to be over here.
It's north of the freeway.
Yeah, you want to be over here. So you did it good. That's awesome. But yeah, that's how it kind of works. I try to work with them and try to get as much feedback I give back to you, and that's how we were able to win that one. But it was the wild west at that point in the COVID era. The rates were low, the prices were super high. The good thing now for everybody that bought in that time, you guys have equity because the prices have gone up still. So there you go.
Let me ask you some advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so my wife and I want to get a bigger place.
Oh, here we go. I know an agent. I don't know if you know somebody.
Okay, so we have a 1,500 square foot house.
Okay.
It's a 3-bedroom.
Okay.
It's nice. Yeah. We just had our third child.
Congrats.
So our third is about a year old, and he's starting to walk, and the place feels tiny now.
Yeah, 1,500. Okay. Yeah, I get it.
So we want to do a bigger place. Do you recommend selling the current house that we are currently in, or can you not give financial advice? Am I crossing the ethical line here?
No. This is a podcast, man.
All right.
My podcast.
We're just shooting the breeze. Okay, so do you recommend us? What would you do in this scenario? Would you sell the house that you're in to buy a bigger place, or would you keep it as a rental and buy another bigger place and maybe stretch your bank account a little bit too much, but make it work? What would you do?
Okay. Yes. So it's a great question. I love it. I'm doing the same thing with 2 other families where they're selling and buying. And for the same reasons. It's always, hey, we outgrew the house. It's normal. A lot of times we think this is our forever home. Life happens, and here we are.
So you would sell and buy?
No, I'm just explaining. No, not Fair necessarily. Okay. I take it. So it's not a very black and white situation. It's a family situation. So I would say, and you don't have to answer this stuff, but just in your head, you can whatever, just hypothetically, if you're in a situation where you can afford to keep the house, then to me, the more doors, as we call it in real estate, the better for you, long term wise. If I can afford to keep, I'll just use me as an example. I when I bought a home, I couldn't afford a house, so I bought myself a townhome. I'll take what I can get. So now when it was time to buy a house, I was able to pull off to keeping that townhome and buying my house. So now I have 2 properties, right?
Okay, how did you pull that off?
Well, it's on numbers.
All right.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I said you don't have to answer that. But if you can financially do it, or you feel comfortable enough to do it, which comes back to the numbers, then I would suggest to try to keep it. What we could do is use that house, and I'm just going to throw out numbers. I don't know the rental area, but let's say the house rents for $3,200. Your mortgage is $3,000. That's a $200 gain. You rent it out. We show it on paper to the bank and say, look, we're going to upgrade, right? So now we're upgrading. So now we don't have to pay 20% down to buy that home. We can do less, because that can help you purchase that second home and keep this one, right?
Oh, interesting. Does that make sense? I didn't know you could do less. Interesting.
Because you're showing them, I'm going from this place to a bigger place. When you're doing the opposite, they're like, you're going down, so that means you're buying an investment home. You're gonna have to pay 20%. Gotcha. But when you're going from here to up, you're upgrading. You don't have to pay 20%.
Interesting.
So you might be able. I like that. You might be able to get away with it by saying, I'm going to rent this out. My tenant is going to pay my mortgage. I don't have a mortgage.
Yeah.
Now my only mortgage is going to be my new home. And I have this much money for the down, and it makes sense.
But the rates are so high right
now.
The
rates, that's why I said it's very tough. And that's why I say, I'm going to talk about rates too, though, but that's why I say it has to make sense to you, right, as a family.
Okay, pull out your crystal ball. When are the rates going to be?
I was about to say that
sweet spot.
Nobody knows. Number one,
right?
I'm not trying to guess, but I will say that I personally think this is going to be the new norm for at least a year.
Okay.
And if they drop, which we just went over them, right? We have 5.99 for FHA and VA, and we have 7% for conventional. If they drop, you're going to see conventional from 7 to 6. It's not going to be a drastic drop. We're not going back to COVID, guys. I'm sorry to break the news to you. It's not going to happen. You're not going to see a 2.5 and a 3.5 and maybe a 4.5. I just don't see it happening. So, yeah. Exactly.
It's no fun.
So I guess what I'm saying is expect these rates to be the new norm, because what happens if you really think about it, if you just imagine in your head and that COVID era, 2020 to 2022 per se, if you slice that out and you put 2019 to 2023 now, and you merge them together and you get rid of that COVID era, the rates didn't really move much. They just went up a little bit, meaning these rates correlate with the way the industry was going prior to COVID.
Okay.
So they're kind of just spiked up a little bit. So had we not had COVID, these rates would be like, oh, they're not too bad. But because everybody's stuck on that COVID era mentally, they're like, these rates suck. But that was like a unicorn era. Like, it's crazy for everything. I mean, forget real estate. We had to wear masks. You guys remember that? I mean,
of course, I had to wear it outdoors on a baseball field.
That's wild. That's true. So everything of that era, it was just bizarre.
Yeah.
Damn. So what I tell everybody is, I'm like, I would just kind of quote unquote erase that a little bit off, when you're dealing with the real life financings and real estate, because it wasn't normal.
I will say this though, COVID did make things a little bit more affordable for
because
the first time buyer.
100%.
And now it's
100%.
Man, I think you need a couple of upgrades. I need to win a lot more baseball games to be able to afford 7%.
We haven't got started with the baseball stuff, man.
Yeah,
you got time?
Safe at home right here. Yeah, baseball
bats,
baseball glove,
baseball jersey.
But we merged the real estate and baseball together. That's the beauty of the show. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Ambiance Realty, which is my team. That's my whole team. I work for Ambiance Realty. That's one of our sponsors. Shout out to them. Thank you guys. Driven Events. If you like to network, you want to learn a little bit more about business, how to market, just anything in general. We have these great events. We have Driven Masterminds. We have the Driven event once a year, which I think is coming up August or September. We don't have the dates just yet. A lot of networking. It changed my life. I want to say, 4 years ago? Driven 2. We won't get into that, but I highly recommend it for any entrepreneurs or anybody that's running a business that wants to maybe just learn a little bit more of what to do, how to do, and when to do it. These events are great. We'll put all the information somewhere here for Ambiance and Driven. Thanks, guys, for that. Coach, let's talk about you now, because like I mentioned earlier, I want to read a few things though, because this is impressive. And you've gone a long way. This is great. This is when I was growing up. I'm like, dude, this is what I imagined I was gonna do. Just so you know, at one time in my age, as a young kid, I imagined doing exactly what you did, and I was like, if I don't go pro, right? Because every kid wants to be a pro, right? Until we know what it really takes, right? It's a gifted person, clearly. Like, these guys are extremely gifted. I mean, it's baseball has to. I think is the hardest game in the world.
No doubt, 100%.
Right?
Hitting is the hardest thing to do in any sport.
Okay, so we agree.
And pitching is second.
Pitching is second. Yeah. It's not that easy. I've tried that too. But anyways, I thought at one point, if I don't make it, I'll just come back home and then pretty much do what you're doing, which is so. I congratulate you.
Well,
it's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's hear this out. So we got here. Sorry, right here. Where is it?
You want me to put the ball on the tee for you?
Exactly. Sorry. No, I had your did I put it right here? Oh, here it is. Because I want to start when you started at Riverside City College, right?
Okay.
2 straight titles? 2020, 2000 and 2001. I'm sorry.
I was part of the first 2 state championship teams at Riverside City College. Yeah.
How stacked was that team?
It was really good.
You guys had to be.
I mean, every member of that starting lineup and rotation either got signed professionally or went to a Division I school.
Yeah, I would imagine. And then you went to Oklahoma, and then Midwest Region and Big 12 Conference honors as a second baseman in 2003. 2 seasons there. How was that?
It was different. And
very different, right?
Yeah, I was known as the kid who couldn't cross the street growing up. I wasn't allowed to do anything, man. No parties. Couldn't,
and then you go to Oklahoma.
Well, when it was time to be recruited, I said, "Smell you, mom and dad. I'm gonna experience the world." And I settled on Oklahoma because they took care of me.
Yeah.
Financially, my older brother was going to Fresno State. My younger brother under me was going to Cal.
All baseball?
No.
Oh, okay.
They were brainiacs.
Okay, got it.
So we were going to 4-year schools in the same year.
Oh, wow.
My father was a cabinet man, self-employed.
Yeah.
Building cabinets out of his backyard. Out of his backyard. So
Mr. Cornejo.
So I had to take care of them, essentially. I didn't want them to pay much out of pocket for my education and my opportunities. I was actually, at one point, my mom, I love my mom, but she said, Mijo, why don't you get out of baseball? It's too stressful for you. What, in high school? She said,
in high school?
In high school, she said, why don't you join the band? That seems to be more fun. I said, get out of here, Mom. I'm not going to join the band. Yeah. I'm going to stay with baseball. So when I was being recruited, I looked at Oregon State. I looked at Florida International, Louisiana Lafayette. They had just come off of their first appearance at the College World Series, and that's where I wanted to go. But I settled in Oklahoma because they took care of me, and there was a connection between the head coach that I adored at Riverside City, named Dennis Rogers, and the head coach at Oklahoma. So there was some Southern California ties. So
really?
I thought this would be best for my development, and I ended up going there. But it was different. It was unique. I think I was I only saw one other Latino. In the whole town of Norman. Yeah.
Oh well, bringing that up, one of my high school buddies, Felipe Terrelboin, got drafted by the Cardinals in the last round out of high school, I believe in 2000. Shout out to Felipe in 2000, and he went to Oklahoma.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, which is Latino. Yeah. He's from Chile, so he probably experienced that too.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah. And so I was interesting when I saw him go there, and then when I was doing my research for you, I'm like, oh, he went there too. And I thought about that. I'm like, how many Hispanics, especially from SoCal, end up in Oklahoma?
Yeah, not very many.
Right? Yeah. I would assume.
Yeah, not many. So it was definitely a unique culture shock for me. Yeah. But I had the personality where I could get along with people and keep my head down and just work and slowly pay that scholarship back.
Oh, wow. There you go.
I felt indebted to him, So I poured everything I could into it.
So that leads me to, and I see here all your accolades in regards to when you started coaching after you did your six seasons in the minors. But what I want to know is, take me back as a child where we mentioned earlier. I mentioned to you earlier. When was it that the baseball bug got you, and how did do you remember that?
I do. I remember sitting on my couch watching the 1988 World Series.
Gibby.
Oral Hershiser.
Oh, Kurt. Okay. The Bulldog.
The Bulldog. Watching Oral Hershiser. I think he pitched in game 1, then came back and pitched in game 3, if I recall, or 4. Maybe game 5, and then came back to finish off game 7.
Wow.
In that World Series. Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
I forget too.
But it was Oral Hershey, just the way he competed, and I became a Dodger fan ever since.
Oh, that was gonna be part of our fireball questions later. Angels or Dodgers? I already know the answer.
Yeah, I know the answer. So I got invited to big league spring training when I was in the minors with the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
And they had signed my favorite player growing up, Mike Piazza, to a 1-year deal. Do you remember Mike Piazza?
Yeah, of course. Wow.
And I remember having a poster of him in my room. I always admired his game and how far he used to hit the ball. So Oakland signed him to a 1-year deal, and so I got to share a locker room with him.
No.
Shut
it.
And
did you go up to him?
No, I never did.
Did you ever
hey, Mike, let's take a picture.
No, none of that. I get it.
I said what's up to him, but I wanted.
You wanted the same respect, right? Look at me like I'm looking at
To me, he was a hero, and I didn't want to mess with that.
Yeah, I get it.
So, I didn't want him to think that I was an idiot or
right. But you got to.
But I got to share a locker room.
Yeah. So you BP and all. I think he was only there once, like you said. He signed that 1 year, and he was done. No. That was after the Mets.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I think is that when he retired? Yeah.
Oakland had I think a series of years where they did that. They did that with Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. They signed him for 1 year. I think they just wanted their experience and knowledge to trickle down to the young players.
A lot of people do that. A lot of teams do that. Okay, so let's retrack back. You're not in the minors. Let's go back.
Oh, okay. All right. I was jumping the gun.
Yeah, you're jumping the gun. So as a kid. So you see Oral, you see the Bulldog, and then where do you start playing? Because for me, I didn't know Little League. There wasn't a Little League that I knew about. I knew about a park, and I'll just share this real quick because it's not about me, it's about you. But across the street, these big men were playing what we know as Sunday League ball, and they were wearing, coincidentally, the Oakland A's jersey, and I would see them every Sunday. I'm like, damn, these guys play here all the time. Anyways, so I walk up to them like, hey, I want to play. And they're looking at me like, dude, get out of here. Like, scram. And I'd come back, hey, I want to play. Like, come on, can I play? And they're like, no, man, you can't play with us. Like, what are you talking? I'm thinking baseball. Like, I see it on TV. I'm here.
How old are you?
I was probably about 10.
And how old were they?
Oh, they're adults. They were.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't let you play either.
Of course not. No, I know. But I didn't.
Drag us down.
I had no idea that there was a league for me. That's how naive I was. Okay. So the guy finally goes, you got to go into that office and you got to ask them to play, and you got to have your parents, come pay a fee or whatever. And that's when I'm like, oh shit, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to play. So anyways, I walked in there and I go, I want to play baseball. And the guy's like, okay. He gave me like a application. He goes, take this, have your parents come back, and they have to sign and they have to pay. And I'm like, wow, it's going to be tough. Anyways, I came back and I played baseball. It's rec ball. It's park league, not little league, which I guess would be more advanced, yada, yada, yada. And that's how I was, I was drawn into it through the TV and seeing it. That's when I started playing ball. But what about you? When did you start? Were you, the 5-year-old that started at,
No, I was like, a 7-year-old.
Okay,
I'm telling
that's
you,
still young though.
The World Series got me hooked, and I showed interest, and back then it was I think $15 per kid to play Little League.
Okay.
So I started off.
What city? Where was that at?
That was in Mira Loma.
Out
in Riverside.
Okay.
And you started off. We didn't start off hitting off the tee, but the coach would pitch to you underhand.
Yeah.
And your goal was always to try to hit your coach in the face,
Uh-huh.
and lined you up to the middle. And then I remember in one of our games, there was a high pop fly, and I was an infielder on our team, and I had caught this pop fly, and I heard a really loud scream. I turn around, and it's my head coach, big burly weightlifter with a beard, and he was so excited he couldn't stop screaming.
Oh, he pumped it up.
Yeah, he was fired up for me.
Pissed.
I mean, it was a high pop fly that I ended up catching for a defense. And I remember thinking, I've never made a grown man that excited.
Oh,
and I got hooked because my dad was My dad was a
I think I know where you're
worker.
going.
He was a worker, and he was disciplinarian. And I thought, we had to be on the straight and narrow. But to see a grown man get this excited, I said, "Ooh, I'm doing something good."
Yeah.
So
wow,
that got me going.
And that brings me back to guidance, right? Which is a whole other subject. And I think that's one of the reasons why you do what you do, where you're able to guide these kids to different levels and, guide them through life in a sense. And that's a big deal because growing up, especially as a Latino, and especially if you have a father that disciplined like that or whoever it may be, sometimes you don't get that. But if the guidance is there or the spark plug is there, that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal.
I agree.
So you got hooked there. That's awesome. And then when would you say, or did you ever know? I mean, you had to know. Let's be real. You had to know, I'm a little better than that guy. Just a little bit. Even if you weren't, I'm not saying you were cocky, but in my 2 cents, in especially in baseball, the way I even did what I did in baseball, which wasn't stuff like you've accomplished, but for me to even be on a high school team or on a rec ball all-star team, whatever the case may be, try out at a D2 score, et cetera, you need to have confidence in this game because you're going to get shut down 3 out of 10 times, right?
Yeah.
So I call it confidence, not cockiness. And I feel like you need it.
I guess my earliest memory of me feeling like I could be good at this game was my senior year in high school.
Okay.
I mean, it was that late.
But it doesn't matter. So what happened there? Or what was it?
Well, I guess it was my junior year was so miserable hitting.
Oh, no way.
Hitting 250, 26 errors.
No way. Stop it.
No, yeah.
You were
terrible.
Drafted.
No, I know, but this is my junior year in high school.
That's what I'm saying.
It was so bad that I felt like I let everyone down.
Wow.
And I let myself down.
Yeah.
And so the following year I worked. That was my whole motivation, is to not be embarrassed anymore.
To get better? Is that?
It was to get better, to not be embarrassed anymore. And even today, I'd say to some degree that's where a lot of my motivation comes, is I don't want to get embarrassed as a head coach. I don't want to.
Well, you're doing great.
Well, thank you. I don't want to get embarrassed by the players that we put out on the field. So we have to recruit really hard and do all that. So there's.
So that's when you like I can go somewhere like
it was a culmination of my senior year. I think I was an all CIF first team player.
And
I didn't really know what that award meant or that recognition. No, not at the time. I was naive myself, and until a coach sat me down and said, "You're taking this too lightly. This means something." And
was it okay? So were you that quiet kid that hit bombs? Or
no, I was a
just
quiet
excelled?
Kid. I called them grenades. I used to hit the ball just over the shortstop's head.
No way.
I wasn't strong enough to hit him, so I was a left-handed hitter, so I'd slap it over there.
Okay.
And I played for a gentleman who was a screamer and really intense,
old school guy.
Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
Who, when he sat me down and used his regular tone of voice, I knew it was serious. And so he's the one that told me you need to have more confidence in yourself. Does
John Herbaugh ring a bell?
John Herbaugh?
No. Cal City LA, all-time winning head coach. You described them.
Okay.
So I went there, tried out my freshman year. I was invited to walk on. Hurt my arm right before the season. I couldn't. So my arm, for people on the video, I couldn't do this. It could only go up to here. I don't know what happened. I didn't have insurance, so I just went home and said I can't play. It was the wildest thing. Anyways, you remind me of John Herbaugh, or the gentleman that you described as John. But like you said, they're screamers. They're on it. But when it was time, like, okay, let's talk.
And that's not totally fair. What I just said. One of our assistant.
Not a bad thing.
No.
I was kind of used to that.
One of our assistant coaches at my high school was a gentleman named Alvin Davis.
Okay.
He's known as Mr. Mariner. He was MVP for the Seattle Mariners.
I was going to say, many years. Is that
he's from Riverside, and is
it the same one I'm thinking?
Same one.
Lefty?
Yeah, the same one.
Big guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh no way! How do you end up over there? Because he's from there.
He's from Riverside, and his best friend was my head coach at Jurupa Valley High School.
No way!
So Alvin Davis was an assistant coach for us, and we knew he had played in the big leagues. And
he went as Al Davis in the bigs. His baseball card says Al Davis, right? Yeah, I know exactly. We probably pulled him when we bought some old cards, Donruss 86 or something like that, and I remember Al Davis.
Yeah, I had his cards too.
Wow.
So, when he gave you special attention, you knew that something good was going on.
Yeah. So he sat you down and said, look, little guy, because he's a big guy, right?
let me show you how to do this well. And he just paid attention to me.
That's interesting. Yeah. Back to guidance, right? That's a big deal. Wow. Okay, so then that's where it bit you, and that's where you ended up getting drafted. How was, real quick, because I have so much to cover, and I wish I had more time. Do you have time?
Yeah.
Okay. We're doing OT, guys. Talk to me a little bit about the minors, like how that experience for all our young listeners that we have a lot of high school kids, travel ball team guys. So all the little young generation and up to college kids that are looking for that experience or hoping to get there at one point. Can you maybe just give us a little snippet on what the difference was between playing at the high school level, and I know the college level is completely different as well, but I'm pretty sure, and I've heard it through other ball players, the minors, it's like, whoa, this is not, you're not, at home, and you're not at Oklahoma, at the University of Oklahoma playing anymore. You are now a professional baseball player in the minor leagues. What's the biggest difference you would say?
The biggest difference is how your teammates treat you, because they don't care about your success totally. And if you're in the cage when someone who's been around wants the cage, they're pretty rude to you. They don't share space. They want you to get out of their way because it's their job.
Dog eat dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
really,
I shouldn't say that across the board, but you just have more of that I was never exposed to. I still have a lot of great friends that I played the minors with and awesome guys. But I would say that's the biggest difference is that you don't really, there's not no
team.
There's not an environment based on winning and putting the team first.
It's me versus
you. It's me getting to the next level.
Wow.
And it's me essentially keeping my job. So you had that sense in a locker room. It's very, it can feel very divided.
Very business-like.
Yeah, it can feel very divided. You notice how those who are signed to a bigger bonus, how differently they're being treated, and how much time they're
favoritism.
How much time they're being coached. So you feel it.
Yeah. Wow. Very interesting. I mean, you know what? I think you see that in the business world anyways.
I would.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure you see it in almost any industry.
Real quick. You get a top recruit, right?
Yeah.
And then you get me as an invited walk-on. You're like, Alexis, can you you're in the way, bro. Move to the left. Johnny, come on. Johnny, sorry about that, Johnny. This kid.
Well, I think in college you can do it a little differently.
Right, of course. But I'm saying it happens.
Okay, so in college you have 27 players on scholarship.
Okay.
For a 35-man roster.
Okay.
And 8 of them have to be walk-ons if you're going to fill a 35-man.
Okay.
So those 8 walk-ons, they either have to qualify for a lot of financial aid to afford it.
Okay.
Right? So you don't pay it, or they need to be able to afford it themselves. Either way, you are recruiting them. No, you're actively recruiting them to be part of your team. So
because you're seeing them being a part of the 27-man at one point.
You put on your GM hat and you're trying to select who you want. So you really don't have that kid at the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak, who's in the way. You need to try and get him better.
Got it.
So if anything, you say, Johnny, go put extra time in the cage. Because Alexis needs his hacks too, unfortunately.
You know what? This is breaking news. Coach here is going to do us a big solid run right now, right, Coach? So I actually have a year left. So did you bring out the contract so I can sign a letter instead?
We'll give you a 5-minute tryout.
I thought I was going to get a 1 day at least. Come on. That's interesting. I never heard someone explain to me the minor league system the way you just did. I've talked to several players that I played with or against or whatever the case may be, even pros, but not like the professionalism or not that the job. It's a job.
It was stressful on a lot of players.
Wow.
Because no one never knew where they stood unless you signed for a decent amount of money.
Huh.
So you remember the longtime Dodger Andre Ethier?
Of course.
So I was in the same draft class as Andre Ethier.
Okay.
I used to play against him.
Well,
every year we played.
Wasn't he an A's?
He was an A's.
We got him from the A's.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah. So you guys.
Yeah, we were in the same draft class for the A's. So we were.
Okay. So you came up together?
Yeah, we always played Arizona State. That's where he went. Oklahoma, Arizona State. Always played against each other.
Right.
And he was an awesome guy.
Mm-hmm.
But you knew because he was drafted in the 2nd round, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was drafted in the 13th, and our bonuses were drastically different.
Yeah.
You just felt you were going to be treated differently, so you always had to earn that respect.
Okay.
So that's what you did constantly going into every day is, okay, let me try and earn my way.
So let me ask you this, and I know you're a competitive guy, as I am, but did you see him like, okay, you're special?
See who?
Andre Ethier. Did you
no,
or did you keep like we're the same class?
Remember now we played each other in college.
Oh, okay. So you saw a lot of them.
So I knew who he was. And
was he that good in your eyes?
He was good.
He was
very good.
He had a career,
and Arizona State was always my dream school. So when I didn't get recruited by Arizona State, I had my best games against Arizona State in college.
Funny.
So
That's funny.
So
what was the best game? What was the best game? Remember
the best game in college
against them? Do you remember stats?
I went 5 for 5, drove in 7, I think.
Ooh, get a round of applause for that. Woo! Wow, that's amazing.
So
that's awesome.
I never viewed. Thank you. I never viewed Andre as he's head and shoulders better than me.
Yeah.
But I will say I did. For that short season in Vancouver, Canada, he got moved up fairly quickly after roughly about a week. Okay, he must be that special.
Yeah.
The following year, we played in Modesto.
Okay, that's Central Cali. Yeah, I know where
Correct.
that's at. Yeah.
And he had an okay year. He hit about 305, maybe 4 home runs, and he hurt his back. And so he was sidelined for about a good month of the season, and all he did was bicep curls, right, every day.
Okay.
And all he would talk about is how big he wanted to get. And sure enough, the very next year, we're in AA together in Midland, Texas. Okay. And he was a completely different guy.
He was diesel, or what do you mean by that?
Unbelievable. He gained 30 pounds.
Dang,
and the ball shot off of his bat. And then at that point, you knew this guy is special. He's going to be a big leaguer because of how much better he got in that 6 month span.
And then that I think that's what I was hinting at, because me growing up, even if I'm playing with somebody, I'd be like, oh, this guy's good.
Yeah.
Like I was a ball player, but I loved the game so much and respected the game so much, still do, where I'm like, you're good in my head. I probably wouldn't tell him, but I'm like, you're a bad motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like this guy's not, like this guy's way better than me. And and it was just me more of a kind of being like a coach per se in my own head, where I'm seeing like, okay, that guy can do that and that. And I was just always analyzing, and I would know like this guy's special. Like there's not many like you.
Sure.
And the crazy thing about baseball is a lot of those guys didn't even make it to the minors, and you're like, how great do you have to be if this guy that I played with was that good, didn't make it? Like that's always something that just amazes me.
Yeah, we talk about it in college too, that everyone's going to get better around you, but you have to make significant jumps in development.
Yeah.
Significant jumps.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And when that happens, then it really stands out. Because when you're around someone every day, you see all the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And it becomes the norm. But then when they make big strides,
and that's what Ether did that year.
That's what Ether did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. So now we're gonna transfer over, because I want to talk about CSUN, but I want to give you your props on 2010 interim head coach at River City College, right? 10 sophomores to the NCAA and NAI schools that you sent after, which is guidance, is what I go back to. You were there at a junior college, JUCO, and you sent 10 guys. I don't care if it's NAI or whatever division it may be. You guided them to the next level. I think that's amazing. That can't be easy to do at a junior college. How did you get all that talent? Or what was it that you did different that other schools where they might get 1 or 2 guys? You got 10 guys.
Well,
how does that work?
I think it just revolves around, I think you have to set the tone for every player. You have to have a certain level of discipline every day. Because I've been on collegiate teams. I've coached collegiate teams where you didn't have discipline, but you had talent, and we weren't very good.
Wow.
So it started there, and I was trying to mimic a legendary coach. And so we just kind of operated the way we did. And then we worked really hard for the guys.
The gentleman you're referring to, is that the gentleman that was there right before you at River City? Or no? You said you were trying to mimic.
I was trying to mimic him. Yeah, he was the gentleman I played for.
Yeah. Remind me his name. I'm sorry.
Dennis Rogers.
There it is. Roger. Yeah. That's right. I remember that.
And so when I became a coach, he was going through some family issues. His mother was coming down with dementia, and he needed to step away from the game.
Got it.
So, he always tells me that you kind of came in at the right time, and so I was able.
You're like,
I was able to run a program.
You're like, I'll take it.
Yeah, with no experience.
Yeah.
Just to try and help out, and I had no desire to coach at all.
Really?
I was just trying to give back to my junior college that set me on this path.
I didn't know that.
To overcome a lot in baseball, I had no desire, so I just wanted to help them, and. Soon after that, I became the interim head coach.
Yeah.
And then the Division I job at UC Riverside came about. Then I hopped over, and it just kept going from job to job.
Yeah, 2011, UC Riverside, right? Mm-hmm. And then Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
2016, first ever College World Series berth. Mm-hmm. You were part of that.
I was part of that staff that rejuvenated that place.
And then, which was crazy because you... Number 9, the nation by collegiate baseball, in regard to the
recruiting
class. That was you.
That was me. Yeah.
That was you. Round of applause, please, over here. That.
Well, isn't it striking to hear that? The UC Santa Barbara, because it's literally on a beach.
How do you? Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's planted onto a beach. It's one of the more beautiful campuses I've been to.
Yeah,
everybody's got to want to go there.
Oh, you assume,
but we
Pepperdine,
we had to recruit grinders. Guess where I got them?
Riverside,
the Inland Empire.
The Inland Empire.
I got the grinders, and I was recruiting kids that hated sand. They didn't like being at the beach, and they couldn't dip their toes in the sand. They just wanted to play professionally. That's all they cared about, and they cared about winning. And we had to filter through a lot of people.
And then that led you to San Jose State, 2019.
Mm-hmm. Another rebuilding project.
And you were also a nationally recognized recruiter. You've just excelled over and over. Cabrón. Great job, folks. Great job. So what was the difference you think at Santa Barbara and then San Jose? Because San Jose, Central Cali, there's no beach. Let me tell you,
there's no beach. It was the level of talent that we were able to get into the door with to recruit.
Yeah.
So at Santa Barbara, I think we're going to be on everyone's top 5 list essentially if you're from Southern California.
Yeah.
In San Jose,
you're like
you're an afterthought.
Yeah.
So you really had to break through that first wall of selling yourself and what you were going to do.
And you were recognized nationally.
That was easy.
What would you say was the key to that? Because like you said, you did not do it by the beach. You had to go to San Jose. Didn't Judge go? Went to San Jose.
He went to Fresno State, actually.
I was kind of mixed it too, kind of like right there, but you know what I mean.
Not really, but
yeah, I know. That's just me saying that. So what I'm saying is, to be recognized in San Jose has got to be way harder than Santa Barbara. What do you think was the dividing factor there that allowed you to do that?
I was always on the road. I was a road dog. Just
grind.
Going to see everyone I could, talking to everyone I could.
Yeah.
You also have to coach, so you actually have to have a plan. And your recruiting essentially is your side gig.
No way.
Because you got to be able to develop players.
Yeah.
You can't be bad at either one of those things anymore in today's world.
Yeah.
So recruiting's you're doing it on the weekends. You're doing it at night.
Wow. You're never home.
I'm never home.
Never home.
Yeah.
Wow.
And bless my wife, she was able to stick by me through all that.
It's always the women in our world that I think hold it down per se. Shout out to moms.
Agreed. She's more competitive than me though, because if I ever came home and I didn't get a commitment, she would ask what was wrong with me that day. So
Did she call you slappy?
She was a harsh critic, but I remember having my first recruiting call in my Santa Barbara apartment where I was the recruiting coordinator, and she had to sit me down and say, that was really rough. It was really hard for me to hear that conversation. I didn't know where you were going, what you were saying.
I'm sorry. I just imagined it.
She's just going on and on about nothing.
She doesn't do baseball, but she was just ripping you and you.
She was.
Oh, that's funny.
She was keeping it real, and
yeah.
And it was hard to hear, but I needed to hear it.
She said, "I didn't know you were going." Oh God, that's funny. Okay, let's move forward. CSUN. Okay, you guys finished third this year. Your first full year, right? As head coach. Mm-hmm. Completed first year, most wins in the Big West. Finished with 21 this year. You guys tied the record for most wins, or you broke the record?
We've had the most. We had the most wins since I think 2000. Oh yeah, 2001.
You're right.
2001,
which is a big deal.
Yeah.
You ended the season with 5-game winning streak, 667 winning percentage, 34-17, 19-8 at home, 15-9 away. I mean, you guys had a hell of a season, like a really good season. I was rooting for you guys, just so you know. Like I said, I'm a big Valley guy, and now I want to get into Northridge because this is where I'm like, I have this big plan for you, right?
Oh, do you? Yeah, let's hear it.
And I hope I don't understand why it's never happened. I'll explain what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But you're going to tell me why, because you're the recruiting expert and you're the head coach and the minor leaguer, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to break down why my theory sucks.
Okay.
But in regards to Northridge, San Fernando Valley, Cal State Northridge is in the city of Northridge. Let's talk about a little bit about real estate real quick before we get into all that, Coach, if you don't mind. It was actually originally named Zelza, which, there's a street, Zelza. Mm-hmm. Okay, back in 1908. Then in 1929, they called it North LA. But then people didn't like it because they were confusing it with North Hollywood. So back in 1938, they called it Northridge Village, which then turned into Northridge, just so you know. Quick facts about Northridge. And then we have 2 ex-pros. I'm sure there's got to be more, but I guess they're saying not that they live there, but they were born there, which was the Weaver brothers. Do you remember them? Jeff Weaver and Jared?
Simi Valley. I think is where they were born.
Well, I said they were born, you know what I think it was? Probably born in Northridge Hospital, so they're considered Northridge.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably what happened. So we got shout out to Jeff Weaver, Simi Valley High School, then went to Fresno State. He was an Angel. He won a ring in 2006 with the Angels. And then his brother, Jared Weaver, was a 3-time All-Star, 2-time AL win leader, MLB strikeout leader in 2010, and actually pitched a no-hitter for the Angels, same team that his brother won a World Series ring in May 2nd, 2012, which is very, very impressive. 2 brothers going back-to-back. It's amazing. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. In regards to Northridge, we're going to continue. We're going to do a little bit of market real estate stuff in Northridge in regards to the market. Your average 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Northridge right now is pretty much averaging at 1.3 million. So if you want to get a house, if you want to get a house in Northridge, a standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck. Damn. Well, and this all relates. Northridge is the core of the valley. If you know the valley, which where I'm from.
1.3 million. What's your monthly payment?
Oh, geez. Depending on your down payment. Yeah, exactly.
What is it? 11,000 per month? What do you got?
No, it depends how much down you give, but it can be up there. Yeah.
Okay, let's say conventional loan. What do you got?
A conventional loan. Guys, you said. We're gonna be at least. Yeah, it could
over
run you
10
around there.
Over 10 grand.
It could run you there. Yeah.
No.
Hey, there's a lot of that's what it's like. But here, check this out. Look, so this is today's list. We got what do you got? 23 homes are bottom home price wise. I'm gonna assume it does have some work that it needs to be done with. It's going for $750. That's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna drop another maybe $100K in there in rehabs. Just to give you an idea. Anybody that wants to see any homes in Northridge, or you're thinking of selling or buying, please contact us. Contact myself. We'll put our information down low. We're here to help. I grew up in the Valley. I know the Valley very well. I've done plenty of deals there. So we're the right people for you guys. The most expensive home right now in Northridge, if you want the big bopper, right? You got a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. And you said your house is a 1,500, right?
Yeah.
You want to hear how big this is? This is massive. 3,953 square feet. Wow. Just the inside.
Wow.
And it's a 14,000 square foot lot for 1.8. 1.8. Yes, very much so. Now, Northridge, does, for all you Valley people out there, I'm not including Porter Ranch. That was Northridge before. That's above on the other side of the 118. So no, I'm not including Porter Ranch. I love Northridge, the pocket wise in regards to real estate wise. There's a lot of really nice areas where you get a big land, like that one's at 14,000 square feet. This is something I personally like just sharing. It's an 18,000 square foot lot. And that just gives you that big greenery in the back. You can play catch, jump in the pool, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But that's your real estate in Northridge as of right now. And that leads us to you being at Northridge and having the great year that you did, right? How hard is it, or how easy is it, or what is it that you're seeing right now
Is it easy? Is it easier? Maybe it's easier. I don't know. You went through this great season where you tied the record, and if people are doing what I did is then I did my homework and I'm like, okay, he's done this, he's done that. You've been going up, right, since you started coaching, and now you're known as a recruiting guru, I guess you could say. And to be honest, wow. Right? Let's give him that. Let's give him that. The guru. You got a little clap over there, buddy. Levántate, cabrón. He said, "Hold on." No. I love it. Okay, so is it becoming easier for you, or do you think now people are like, "Damn, Eddie's stepping it up here. I've been slacking, and now that he's here, he's taking up my recruits." What do you think's happening, or what do you think the mindset is in regards to now? Because now you're on the spotlight, is what I'm trying to tell you.
I don't know. I don't really care about the spotlight. I just want to. I go about my business the same way I always have. Right. Maybe with a little bit more experience, maybe less yelling.
Okay. And less. Were you a yeller before?
When I first started coaching, yeah.
Yeah, no way.
I was a guy that would throw my clipboard and papers would fly, and I remember having a Canadian kid just
cry.
On the brink, I guess. He ended up getting drafted in the 17th round, but I noticed that I was making players not play at their best. I don't feel, so to answer your question, I don't feel the pressure. I've been hired to do a job, to change the culture, to build off of the momentum that we started when I was the first an assistant. Dave Serrano, who's a legendary coach. Yeah. And that's all I'm trying to do. Surround myself with smarter people than me, work really hard, recruit the best players I can, and most importantly, make it really competitive at every spot.
Yeah.
Because competition will bring the best out of you. That's all we try to do. I'll screw some things up. Don't worry. I mean, I'm due.
Well, I always like to say I don't think anybody's perfect. We strive to be perfect, and that's great. That's not a bad thing. So that's the way I look at it. There's going to be mistakes. Mistakes will be made, right? Yeah. But you got to keep moving forward. And I'm really pushing for you, and I'm going to give you this grand idea, and I want you to pick it apart. I'm a true baseball fan. I'm a true Valley guy at heart, and as we talk about, people, you start at the rec ball level, and then you go to the little league or together, whatever the case may be, simultaneously. But then you go so the best players there end up making the high school team, right? And the best players there end up making the college teams, right? Right, and so on and so on. So I've never understood why, if you look at the map in the San Fernando Valley, and if you look at our history in the San Fernando Valley, we've had a boatload of talent. I mean, ridiculous amount of talent. I'm talking about minor leaguers, D1 players.
I know where you're going with this.
And
how come you didn't win more, is what you're about to say.
No, not you. Why hasn't Northridge become everybody's goal in the Valley? Let me finish though. I know you're gonna. The way I see it is this: we're all in our pot, right? The melting pot in the San Fernando Valley. We're all in this bowl where you have kids all the way up, and so we got El Camino, let's say at this end, Calabasas High School at that end, on the west side, and then you imagine all the way to the east side, let's say as far as Sylmar and Poly. Even further, you can go up into Verdugo Hills in the Sun Valley area at the very top. Then you can go all the way down south, and then now you're going to run into the private schools with Sherman Oaks. Then you got Taft over here. Anyways, I'm in my mind, I'm looking at the Valley as a whole. We have so much talent there, ridiculous amount of talent. Where a lot of these kids now need the guidance that I keep talking about, right? So now they're guided onto the JUCO level. And because some of them maybe, can't go to a D1, these grades, right? Whatever the case may be. We go to JUCO. So now we go to Mission, we go to Valley College, and we go to Pierce. That's the Valley, right? From there on, why aren't they saying, "Here, coach, take my best guy"? Why isn't the high school?
I would love for them to tell me that.
I've never understood that.
Well, first of all, the best guy has to be good if we're going to be good.
Right.
And secondly, I think, I mean, I've seen this throughout the course of my career as a recruiter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you live. Kids are more interested in
leaving.
That's okay.
And
that's what I
and they're just more curious of what's out there.
And so I'm not against that.
Yeah.
At all. I even to myself, I'm like, I should have probably just gone just anywhere out of state just for the experience.
Even at my time at Santa Barbara to me is one of the most beautiful cities you can visit.
Yeah.
And kids wanted to get out. And that was
it's like
it wasn't,
it's greener on the other side.
Yeah, it wasn't uncommon. So
that just debunked. That's why that's it. It's a simple thing.
It could be that. I mean, I know a lot of players that at some point, if they wanted to play at Northridge, grew up thinking that they wanted to play at Northridge at a very young age, so they kind of romanticized that.
And then,
but now, I mean, access to getting on YouTube and seeing what facilities look like at other places.
It's not too shabby.
Think so?
I don't think so. Well, maybe my standards.
Well, you're a little old school too. I mean, I grew up playing on a dirt fields.
Exactly.
So
I remember telling my son.
To me, it's fine.
Yeah, I was
it's good.
Grabbing a ground ball right in the nose. There you go.
But here's one of the biggest issues too: is that our competitors are getting better at that specific aspect.
The field
facilities. They're getting better. They're upgrading. They're investing a lot of money into their facilities. So when you compare ours to our competitors, it may not be that sexy.
So this is for everybody. What do you guys call them? Donors or sponsors at
donors? Yeah,
donors at CSUN.
Yeah.
Boosters, CSUN. You know where you got to put your money in, guys. We got to get a better facility for Coach if we're gonna win this. My theory is I just always felt like if the Valley, because this is one of the things why I do the podcast. I'm a big Valley guy. I keep saying it, but I want I'm getting other Valley self-employed people, the small businesses in the Valley coming into the podcast as well.
Okay.
I want to just brighten up the Valley and have us all become a big family. And in the baseball world, I'm like, if we get the best guy from Elko, Taft, Grant, and so on, Monroe, I mean, I don't care what school, and they all just go to the junior college. And then after there, if they can't go straight to you, but at the end, they end up with you at CSUN, we would be competing for a College World Series title every goddamn year. I strongly believe it because I feel like our talent there is just by far very well.
It's a player's hub.
It is.
Absolutely.
Did you know that before that, or are you just saying that now?
No, I knew that before because I recruited Valley kids all the time, wherever I was, and I had a lot of success in the Valley.
Really? In our Valley?
In the San Fernando Valley. It wasn't difficult being a competitor against CSUN to get, and if, let's say, I was going head-to-head.
Oh, wow. You guys hear that, Mr. Boosters?
It wasn't very...
Let's make it competitive.
It wasn't very difficult to get someone to not commit to CSUN.
And the reason how this re-triggered my memory in regards, because I've always thought that way. I'm like, if we can just unite and become like CSUN would be a powerhouse, is when you guys came up with these Valley hats, and I saw it through the season. And you guys even have you have a jersey, that says Valley,
dedicated to Valley State. Yeah.
And I know that back then you guys were San Fernando Valley State College. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was an extension of Cal State LA. And then then they came up with that name, and then they went independent and said, no, we're going to be our own. I could be wrong, but you guys can correct me. And then they became Northridge. But to me, it wasn't the historic aspect of it. It was more like the Valley. So now as a Valley, I'm imagining myself going back to the high school level, seeing, wait a minute, I can represent the Valley at the college level? I don't see how all these other kids wouldn't want to do that and unite and, because as growing up, you know who the good kids are, right? Sure. We know who's who. And imagine building that, you call it CIF team, right? The all-city team. But then, you go to the JUCO level and you get that team. And you bring them all together in one team in the San Fernando Valley. Yeah. I don't see how you wouldn't compete for a World Series title.
We're getting there. I think people are starting to notice that.
This year, I think it was a big deal.
Yeah, and I would say even in the most recent years, mm-hmm. We've strung together 4 winning seasons in a row.
Right.
And there's an upward trend, and people are curious as to how we're doing it. And
Yeah.
I don't. It's just there's no secret sauce. We're just working hard.
Well, I want to congratulate you on that. I think this is I think it's a great deal, and first year. I mean, you now the you know.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. We had the expectation to go to a regional, and be a playoff team. I thought on paper, based off of other teams I've been on, we had the talent to do that. So to me, this last year was a big disappointment. As hard as that is to say, now around the the athletic department and campus, people are congratulating us on a great season.
Yeah.
But we were still one game away, and the difference was a 3-game series against Cal State Fullerton at home at Northridge. We beat them on game 1. They beat us in game 2, kind of in similar fashion.
Yeah.
The difference was double-digit runs.
Yeah.
And so this Sunday game was back and forth. We were tied going into extra innings. In the bottom of the 9th, we were a base hit away with the runner on second base, and our hitter hit a really hard ground ball right to the second baseman, and he made a good play. And then an inning later, they hit a 2-run homer and end up winning the game. But I still think about that game.
Yeah.
What could I have done differently? And
And
I look at all the the other close games that we should have won.
Something that
haunts me.
Something, and I believe it. Something that came to mind was, would you say there's a favoritism because it is Fullerton? And what I'm leading to is when they do the committee or whatever it is meeting that they have.
Committee?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that there's favoritism.
No. Well, okay.
I guess the favoritism that does exist is probably more on the East Coast versus West Coast.
I was going to get to that next. Is why I mean, you might know this. I don't know. Why is it that we host like almost 0 to none playoff games when it comes to these regionals for the College World Series? And we have the best weather.
Well, look at the trend where there are a lot of West Coast collegiate players going into the portal. And where are they going? They're going east. They're going east to east schools on the east.
Okay.
So the talent pool that they're working with is getting better every year. Every year.
But I'm saying in regards to when they were hosting the College World Series, I think it was Stanford. Shoot, was it? Who else? Oh, did Oregon host a tournament? I think Stanford and Oregon.
Last year? Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then you go to the South, and everybody and their mama has a game going. And then I'm looking on Twitter, and it's like rained out. I'm like, well, you wouldn't have got that here. Like, how does you know how that works, or what's the reason?
Well, it's based on it's based on your RPI, which is a scale
you can be a whole school. And what I'm saying is, Fresno State is not in the tournament. Let's just say hypothetically.
You have to be really good. You have to be in the top 16 in the country to host.
Is that what it is? It's not. It's so they don't look at it as a venue. Like what would be the best venue for the tournament?
It's the best venue with the best teams.
Yeah.
So Stanford was ranked, I think, in the top 5
all year.
That
answers my question. Okay.
That's why they hosted. Oregon hosted because they played Oral Roberts.
Okay.
Which was a Cinderella team. And Oral Roberts, their facility versus Oregon, you're always going to pick Oregon.
Hello, Nike.
Yeah. And so, the really good team, the best teams in the country are on the East.
Okay.
On the East Coast.
So, a few last things here. Lucas Braun, Grayson Tarlow, and Ryan Wentz. I hope I didn't butcher your guys' name, but congratulations, guys, getting drafted. What did that mean to you?
It was great. I was very happy for them. I think they were. I've had several guys get drafted from my teams. I think I'm in the 50s now in my career.
Wow!
So
that's awesome.
It was great that they got the opportunity. They certainly deserved it.
Yeah.
And I was happy for them.
That's awesome. All right.
I didn't expect Grayson Tarlow to get drafted, so. You kind of hurt us. I had to go recruit a catcher yesterday because you made me work a little harder.
Was he the one that just hit 2 bombs in a game? That was him, right?
Yeah, but think about the metrics that they're using now. Analytics is becoming more popular in baseball.
Yeah.
And his analytics when it comes to pitch selection, chase rate, on-base percentage. They're going deep into statistical analysis, and he measures really well.
Wow.
In those categories.
Very interesting.
He's a catcher that can steal bases. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't even hear that.
And he's versatile defensively, so you can place him anywhere, and he gets on base. He has a knack for that.
That's awesome. Before we wrap up, I wanted to give a quick shout out for this jersey here. Was sponsored by Mr. All-American. We'll put All-American Sports Shop in our information down here. You know where All-American is? You're about to find out. All-American is on the corner of a block away from Winnetka and Satakoy, for all you may or may not know. You might want to get your jerseys there, Coach. I don't know. Or at least some equipment there. It's a great baseball shop. Tell them Alexis sent you, Agent Ubeda, and you guys can get your 5-10% discount there. All-American Baseball Shop. Thank you for the jersey, guys. Appreciate it. We'll put your information down here. And before we're done here, we're going to have quick fire up questions before we do a small gift. So we'll do can you do a buzzer after 10 seconds, buddy? Yeah. Do you have a 10-second clock there? We're going to try to answer these questions real quick with Coach here. Our Fireball questions, which are sponsored by Fireball. No, I'm kidding. Imagine we were sponsored by All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Bunt or no bunt?
Depends.
Oh, 2-story, 1-story, single home.
1-story.
Cheese on your pizza or Supreme?
Cheese.
Steel or no steel?
Steel.
Angels or Dodgers?
Dodgers.
Thank you. Did he beat the clock? Just do a buzz, man.
Sorry, you sent me with a bunt question.
I know. Hey, you got to be quick.
Hey, we led the conference in bunting this year.
That's awesome. I love it.
And we also led
old school. So.
We led in hitting and we led in stolen bases. So
you go.
I can't knock the bunting game.
Let's go, baby. So we got.
But I also like to hit dingers too.
Well, everybody does. We got a little gift for you. So can we get our gifts coming up, por favor? We got a special guest here. Come on down. Mateo, sit right here. Mateo's my big boy. Careful, papa. There we go. So Mateo, my son here, he just wanted to join us and he wanted to present you with a gift. Okay, do you want to give him so
this hat?
Well, he's gifting us that actually. Okay. Okay. So here. Tell him. You want to tell him what your gifts are? Here, speak into the mic right here, puppy.
Oh yeah. So basically, we have a pack of baseball cards.
All right. Topps baseball cards.
And then
nice.
Give me this real quick. Thank you. Can you grab the sleeves from?
Oh yeah.
And then come right back. And then you want to grab the other packs so then you can open one with us. You want to open one with us? So, Coach, we're gonna open. When's the last time you opened a pack of baseball cards?
When I was 14.
Yes, there you go. So this is what we're gonna do. Here are some protective sleeves. What should he put in here if he does what?
If he finds maybe just like any sort of autographed card,
or if he pulls one, right? That's how you say it. If you pull something hot, we're getting.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Card, TF Rookie of the Year, any of that stuff.
And this is thanks to Mama Breaks. Mama Breaks, thank you for our sponsor. She is professional card collector, and she actually sponsored us and gave us these Topps cards 2023. Thank you, Mama Breaks. We'll put her information on here. This is a sticker for you, Coach, as well.
Awesome.
Give him his pack, and then you guys can and then we'll talk about this gift in a sec, but that's for the people in video. Let's open up all three of us at the same time. Let's see what we get. And good luck to everybody. There's might be a card here that's worth up to $3,000. So good luck. Boom, boom, boom. Hope you like the gift. Lucas G. Olito. That's our local guy, Coach.
Yeah.
I heard he might be coming to the Dodgers. Right?
No, he just got.
Oh, did he sign today?
He signed with the Angels, I thought.
Today?
No?
I didn't see it.
Future stars.
Ooh, Hunter Green.
No, there you go. Local guy.
Dame High School.
Hey, we got 2 local guys. That is awesome.
We each got a future stars. Oh. Okay, why does that keep going? Oh, I got a rookie card.
You did?
Yeah.
Let me see. I didn't get anything. I got
Here's
a cool
an Angels
local
team card. We'll put that in the back.
I don't know.
All right, I didn't get anything special.
This isn't a secret.
But I got Lucas. Team card. You got the Cubs.
Yeah. I like this one. This is a 3-player card.
Oh, nice. Who's on it?
Rangers.
Who's on it, Coach?
You got Kyle Wright.
Okay.
Julio Urias.
Oh, Julio's on there.
And Yu Darvish.
Oh, nice. Oh, really?
So I like this is sleeve worthy, I think.
There you go. Sleeve worthy. Boom. Here's your sleeve. What'd you get, puppy? Let me see. Can I see it real quick? Did you go through them yet or no?
I got a featured star one.
Jadier Molina, Corey Seager. There you go. Oh,
he's having an amazing year too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He came back. I think he might have been hurt. What do you think? Dude, you got a Kershaw. That's a sleeve worthy. Hall of Famer, baby. Let's go.
Look, the top logo is golden.
Oh, wow. I wonder if that means something. Mama breaks. You're gonna have
Corey Knievel. Wasn't he a former Dodger?
SSP. I think that's let me see.
Former Dodger, Corey Knievel.
Yeah.
SSP. Is that good?
I think this is good. We're gonna have to ask the pro.
Sleeve worthy.
Sleeve worthy, bro. Put that on there.
I'm gonna put this in the old protector.
Thank you.
I don't think we brought any of those though.
No, just you can use one of those. And then can you hold that pen, please? Thanks, buddy.
Hey, you should ask him to come on this podcast.
Hunter? Yeah.
Green.
Oh yeah, we're gonna try. Trust me.
Okay, so
I mean, he is a pro, so we got to see if we can rally him over here.
Do it. I got another little surprise for you.
Oh, you do?
We have another surprise.
Oh, what do we have here?
Whoa.
Hey, can you zoom in on this or no? Can you zoom? Is there a way or no?
No, I'm just bring this.
Okay, let Coach open it. I don't. Have you seen this? When's the last time you saw this?
This is a minor league card. It's worth like
1.2
maybe
mil.
A cent or
hey,
two.
You know what? You sell this, you'll get your house for free. What do you think? Tail.
Wow.
So there's 2 of them in there, and you were wondering if you could maybe sign one of them.
Yeah, I can sign them.
Wow. One's for you to keep, assuming I don't know. It's a gift. We wanted you to have one.
Thank you.
And then he like he said, if you can maybe have it sign one for him, and then you keep one, he keeps one. What do you think, Coach? Is that doable?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. You got the pen, puppy? Yeah. Give him.
Yeah, you can open that for me.
Do it cautiously though. You can't. That's worth 1.5, I think.
It's a cent and a half, is what he said.
Do you have a set of those?
I do. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
They come out with these every year, and that you're on a team, and they'll give you a set.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
You just randomly get them mailed to your house, or what do you mean?
No, just I always kind of kept them as the teams were promoting players. And
do you need something flap? You can. I mean, you have to sign it now, but if you can, you can sign it. Oh, wow! We got the official signature right now, right there. That is awesome. That is awesome. Should we let it dry before you sleeve it?
Sure.
Yeah, right? Okay, let it dry, puppy.
Awesome. Was my favorite place to play.
I don't know if you noticed. Sorry to cut you off, but I sent you. I don't know if you're busy. I get it, but I sent you a picture of just rockhounds. Yeah. Like I sent you the picture, and I think I asked you, like, do you know what this is? I don't know if you caught that.
The Rockhounds they were my favorite organization because I became a utility player there.
Okay.
And maybe I always was one. But I wasn't playing the first part of the season.
Yeah.
And wanted to get out in the community, and I started working with a bereavement program called the Rays of Hope.
Okay.
So they'll take kids, anywhere between ages 5 to 15.
Yeah.
And their parents are incarcerated or they've passed.
Wow.
Or they're dealing with the loss of a family member.
Yeah.
And they'll go to this place, and it's kind of like a rehab center.
Wow.
So I started the partnership between the Midland Rockhounds and that that organization, and it's still there today.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you still active on it, or do you communicate with them still, or
No, it was I had a specific role. I'm a team player.
Right.
My role was to get the introductions in.
Right.
And then I've left it up to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's congrats. Can we get a round of applause for that, please? Thank you. And then
that it's amazing. I'm thank you for coming here today. And I was told that you brought this special Valley State hat for us. This will be added to our collection. Good. If you don't mind, do you mind signing this for us as well? That'd be great. If you can, that'd be awesome. I think top wherever you know what the last. How are you gonna
hang it?
I think the top would be better, so we can hang it like that. Yeah, so you can see it. Will it work though? Because of the
I think so.
The threads. Anyways, guys, that wraps up our show for today. But I want to thank everybody listening and viewing. Keep following us, subscribe, and we're here to put out the word for the San Fernando Valley and Safe at Home podcast. You're safe at home when you get when you're trying to score that run, and I want you to be safe at home at your physical home as well. So from everybody here at Safe at Home podcast, thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you, Coach Cornejo. We want to wish you the best of luck on the next season. We'll be rooting for you 100%. And if there's anything we can do for you, that's what we're here for. And thanks. Join us on the next one, guys. You can say bye, Teo? Coach, see you guys. Thank you.